Take two. I started this, then I got a phone call. It was a family member, and I started talking to them. It is 5:50 now, and I don't know what the temperature is outside, but anyway, I'm coming on here really quick because I saw a favorite creator of mine. She did a reaction, I guess, of the Gein movie, or rather series from Netflix. And she was like, she seemed really upset and disappointed about it because she said everything was fictional in that. It wasn't even accurate in this documentary. First of all, it wasn't a documentary. It was a series. And in that series, right here, because even at the beginning of the series, it never claimed that it was all true. And in any movie that you watch about a crime that was committed or a true story, they always tweak it. We already know this by now. They tweak it. They modify it. They base it on actual events. However, some of the scenes may be changed, modified. The names have been changed to protect that person. You know, those disclaimers used to come out on movies. And I guess because this series did not put that for this particular creator, she automatically thought this was all nonfiction. Well, I Googled it. You know, I Googled right here. I asked this question. And right here, it says clearly, it's based on the real life murderer. It does not claim to be strictly factual. The Netflix series dramatization that uses a mix of real facts and creative liberties to explore Gein's life and his cultural legacy. They do this in a lot of series. So where's the confusion? I don't get it. You know, and I'm not trying to be like condescending to this person at all. But they said they did research and they couldn't find anything factual connected to this series. Well, it's not all factual. And it tells you right here, it's not all factual. Here's the background, where it took place. You know, and it talks about his mother. Now, she says that the mother did not die while having the second stroke, that she died in her first stroke. Well, no, because if you Google the mother, it tells you that she actually died in the second stroke. She says it didn't happen the way that it did. I don't know about that for sure. I could look it up. Let's do it. Hold on. Let's see, because I did look her up. I did look up the mom, and it did tell me that let's see. It talks about the childhood, the death, immediate family, the brother died. Oh, she mentioned about the brother dying and that he passed the poly, which he did. So it was never confirmed if he killed his brother or not, and of course he never confessed to it. But since they put that in the series, she automatically says, that was false. It wasn't his fault. The series never said it was. They never said that it was him that killed him, sorry. Work. Sorry, you all. With Henry deceased, Ed and his mother were now alone. Augusta suffered a paralyzing stroke shortly after Henry's death, and Ed devoted himself to care for her. Sometime in 1945, he later recounted he and his mother visited a man named Smith who lived nearby to purchase straw. According to Gein, Augusta witnessed Smith beating a dog. A woman inside the Smith residence came out and yelled for help to stop, but Smith beat the dog to death. Augusta was extremely upset by the scene. What bothered her did not appear to be the brutality of the dog, but rather the presence of a woman. She didn't like, to Augusta, all women were Jezebels, and the fact that this woman was speaking to, I guess, her husband, yelling at him, telling him not to kill the dog, Augusta was more bothered by that. Like, who is this woman and why is she yelling at this man? She has no place, So it continues to say, Augusta told Gein that the woman was not married to Smith. Okay, it wasn't her husband. And had no business being there. Angrily calling her Smith's harlot. And then she suffered a second stroke soon after. And her health deteriorated rapidly. Augusta died December the 29th, 1945. So she had 2 strokes, not one. And I'm reading this out of the wiki for him. Okay? So she had 2, and this creator was saying, no, she only had 1 and she died in that one. No. And then she talked about Adeline. I'm just going through this really quick. She talked about Adeline and how Adeline, and I'm not going to take the time to Google her. I did it earlier. That Adeline did have an affair with him, but that wasn't true. The series does not say that she had an affair with him. In her wiki, it says that she said they did, but then later took it back. And I think that's, I think that's in here. Right here. Accomplice in the reality is unclear. And after initially claiming a long courtship, she retracted her statement. See, so she took it all back. In the series, she doesn't even say they had a relationship. All she says is that they just went to the movies together, that they were friends, that they were close friends. She never stated in the series that they had a relationship. And this creator was really bothered by that as well, that was a lie. That the series gave a different story, that they were in a relationship. When no, they didn't. I watched the series twice. And then, oh yeah, the babysitter, it's unclear if he did that or not. But they put it in the series. And this is, the series is like using their opinion of what could have happened, what might have happened. And so they included it in there. The series did not claim that he killed her, They just showed a side that, hey, this could have happened. Maybe he did kill her. Maybe he did this and this and this and this, And of course, they have to, I don't know if glamorize is the right word, But they were working up to where that's where the Texas Chainsaw Massacre came. And I remember saying that in my last video on how that's really brilliant if that's how they came up with that story. Again, they took pieces of this man's story and they made the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Silence of the Lambs. You know, the series is not taking credit for that. They're not saying this is how it happened. This is how they got their ideas. This is how it is. They're just giving you their interpretation of it. This right here, she said this never happened, and she's like, I don't understand why they even added it in there. Look, just because he denied this part and this part, it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. We don't really know. This guy here was never in his right mind. You're going to take his word? You're going to like argue with Netflix that how dare you include this in there? If that never happened, that's a lie because I believe him? Oh boy. I'll get to that in a minute. And then she did mention this person right here. Yeah, he had nothing to do with the capture of Ted Bundy. However, it does say right here, while a real FBI profiler did meet with Gein, the killer was not helpful and played no role in Bundy's capture. They are making this claim here. Yet, she's still blaming the series for making all these false claims. They didn't make this claim. Now, here's that Adeline girl and what really happened to her. She had mental issues herself, like I said. If you, I'm not going to click on it, but I did earlier. And the story that she gave is the story that she had that was true to her. Do we know if everything was factual that she said? No, we don't. Oh, and I don't want to forget about Bernice. Bernice was a 50-year-old woman who he dates, right? She's the owner of the hardware store. He dates her and supposedly, allegedly, he dates her. He pays for her meals, and then, you know, they ended up getting intimate. She said the creator said she was disgusted by that part because that's a victim, and she found no proof that they even had a relationship. And how dare they say that about her? I agree, and I disagree. I agree that this is a victim, and maybe they could have used a better way to describe their relationship if they had one. However, how do you Google a person, a victim, to find out if they had relations with a killer back in, what, the 1950s? I don't know when he was around. I'm sorry, but there's no record. Nobody keeps a record of who they're intimate with and puts it on the internet. How are you going to find that out? How do you know if that's true or not? Maybe it was true for them to have put it in the storyline, or maybe it wasn't, and they just did it to kind of create some context for the sake of the series. We won't know. He's not around to ask. She's not around to ask. You know, and the son, I don't know if I seriously doubt he's still around that we can ask. You know, and even if he was, it's none of our business if that's what actually happened. You know, I wouldn't go asking the son, hey, is it really true that your mom and this guy right here, they were getting it on, you know, like before, you know, he, you know. I would not ask. There were many victims in this person's life. And we don't know the extent of what actual relationship he had with them. And by relationship, I mean acquaintance or friendship or even more. We don't know. We have no idea. But all in all, oh, before I even end this video, let me go back. She mentioned the last episode, which was episode 8, how crazy that was. I agree with her there. It was very, very crazy. It seemed like they threw a lot together in that last episode, and it was disgusting. That last episode, there was a lot of homosexuality going on. And that reminds me, hang on you all, I need to Google one more person, because she was really upset about this other actor that she said she found no proof of. And I hope it doesn't fail me now. Let's see. Because I did Google on my phone and it gave me more information. Okay, I'm just going to go here. A simple question, because I don't know, the way this pulls up information, sometimes it's weird. She claims that she couldn't find any evidence on Anthony Perkins being homosexual, and it's right here. It's right here. He was in a long-term relationship with Dale, and there he is with him. And then after he split with him, he married, I have no idea how to pronounce that. Oh, apparently he had other relationships with men. Okay, I had no idea. Like, I thought it was just Dale. But he ends up, oh, okay, I'm reading that too. Anyway, he ends up getting married with a woman. Okay, that's her. Okay, he ended up marrying her, and this is one of his kids. And I mentioned in my other video on how, I think it's this one that's in Legally Blonde, because he has 2 boys. Yeah, it's this one, Legally Blonde. This guy right here, he's the tall guy. When she says that, when she's at the library and she can't reach the book at the very top shelf, and he's really tall, and so he grabs it for her. This is one of his kids. And anyhow, how can I go back? Okay. So yeah, Anthony Perkins was gay, and she said she couldn't find any information on that, and I just pulled it up right now. And anyhow, yeah, like I was saying, the very last episode 8, there was a lot of homosexuality going on, and it's disgusting. Do not watch it with kids. She said she didn't watch it with her kids, and she's glad she didn't. I mentioned that in my other video. Do not watch it with your kid. Movies like this, you do not watch with your kids. Sorry, you do not watch them with your kids. Why would you even think about that? But the last episode, they threw a lot of stuff in there. there were other serial killers that were mentioned in the series that I agree had nothing to do with him. They didn't write him letters or anything like that. Oh, and she mentioned something about the radio. That's right, the radio. That he had purchased 3 radios. And that he sent it to the other lady that was a transsexual, that he was in the army and he became a transsexual. That he never had any interest in that, so that was false. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm sorry, it really doesn't matter if that was false or not. Like, that was just part of the story. You know, but as far as her saying that he never spoke to anybody on the radio, that was also cleared in the series. At the very end, the last episode, I'm sorry, the doctor is talking to Ed and he's telling him that he never spoke to anybody on that radio. That radio was not even plugged in. So this was going on in Ed's mind where he thought he was talking to these other people on that radio and having conversations. And one of the nurses actually caught him answering himself. He was making another voice. So in other words, I'm looking at my computer screen right now and I'm saying, who can I make up? Adeline. Hey, Adeline. I heard that you had a relationship with Ed Gein. Is that really true? You can tell me. I mean, I'll keep your story straight. Click. Well, no, actually we didn't. We were just really great friends and he would share a lot with me. And that's the way it was going. You know, he would just change his voice to make it seem like he was talking to that other person. And of course, in the series, they're going to show you that other person to make you think as well that he really is talking to this other person. But we all know that it's not possible to do that. They would never allow that in a mental institution or let alone a prison. Okay? So why would we even think that that would be real? Why? Okay, so now I'm just going to say my opinion and my interpretation of the series. I thought it was really well done. I also thought that the director, the producer, they were trying to show you the mind of Ed Gein. He was schizophrenic. So therefore, in the series, they kept taking you on this journey of different scenarios with different characters of said scenarios, of said stories, of said serial killers. And they were just bundling it all up together. And it was kind of messed up in a way because you didn't know what to think at that point anymore. You were like, did they really talk? Did this really happen because of him? But that's up to you, your interpretation. And everybody's going to have a different opinion on it. And how many times do creators say this? How many times do us viewers say this? Opinions are not facts. Opinions are not facts. So this creator giving her opinion about how she thinks this entire series was false is just that. It's an opinion. It is not a fact. There was never a claim that it was strictly factual. And lastly, how many times have we heard creators say, always do your own research? I was reading some of the comments in this creator's channel on that video, and some people were just look, I understand you want to support your creator. You love that creator. You want to support them. So you start bashing Netflix too, so you can show your support. However, you didn't do your research. So you're not being really supportive of that creator if you don't go do your own research before you come and comment under that video. You're just going by what that creator is saying. And you think you're doing her justice by agreeing with her. And you're not. You're just showing that you didn't take the time, and it didn't take long. I just did it right now and didn't take long. So, anyhow, like I said, do your own research. It's really disappointing to me when I see a favorite creator of mine coming out stating their opinion like this and trying to make it seem like it's factual and what they did was factual and that they did the research when they clearly didn't, because in this case, I mean, they really didn't, because I just did it right now and I just showed you all. And I just showed you one or two things. Like, I didn't even go through the extent of every character that was in this movie, you know, or series. But anyway, that's all I gotta say for now. Thank you for listening. And if you can, check it out. If you like that stuff. If you don't, then don't. But I will give you a warning. It is very graphic. It is very strong sexual content. Yeah, and it is not recommended for teenagers. I don't care if your teen is already 16 years old, 17 years old. No, not even if they're 18. No. But anyhow, that's it. I did do a video yesterday. I haven't uploaded yet. It's on something else, on something personal. I wanted to do the part 2 today, but I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to upload that one. But anyhow, I love you all. Have a blessed weekend, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.